Hi, welcome back
Okay.
to another video and another conversation with a lit member. Welcome. Renata, do you want to
Thank you.
start by introducing yourself a little bit?
Yes, sure. I'm Renata Andrade. This is how we say it in Portuguese. I'm Brazilian originally, but I've been called Renata Andrade in England, Renata Andrade in America, and now I'm in Italy, and I'm called Renata Andrade here. So you can call me anything, and I'll respond at this point. So I'm a psychologist from Brazil. And during my kind of expatriation, I've been doing specializations mostly in psychodynamic psychotherapy and transactional analysis. And also, I do coaching, career coaching, kind of linked to my previous career in HR. So, yeah, at the moment, I kind of work in a kind of have a mix of work of counseling and coaching.
And who do you work with mostly? Who are your clients? What kind of clients do you see?
And so they're mostly expats living. So you have Portuguese speaking. A lot of them are they Brazilian or Portuguese. There are also other nationalities. Then I do my work in English as well. And they're so it's usually something around relationships or transitions, adaptation. Some of my clients are young adults who are moving out of the home and making that big transition. And yeah, it's been lately, I think, with the pandemic and everything, it's been also a lot of anxiety and depression and questions around those things, and I think loss and bereavement as well.
So, how did you get started on this working online, location independent journey? What, yeah, how did that start for you?
So it started when I moved from England to the US, and that was like our third move as a family. But when I made that move, I in the US, I had to have specific qualifications to work as a therapist, and I started to think about ways of doing this in a different way, in a different format, not in the traditional office with clients. And also, I was really frustrated that I had to start over my practice, the kind of the physical practice. So I think it was out of frustration in one way, and also trying to find alternatives because of the local laws and all the regulations that are there in the US. So I actually started working online in coaching, not in therapy. When I moved to the US, I trained as a coach, and I decided to slightly change the way I was working, so that I could continue to work and do what I want to do, what I like to do, in a slightly different format, but still helping people and working with people. And then it just started to happen online, because people started to know that I was doing this, and I think in the coaching world was a little bit more open and kind of accepted at that time already, this like online working. And I think it also took a lot of pressure out of, because in therapy I'm a rule follower. So for me, it was like in therapy, you have to have the setting, you have all of those like kind of very rigid things. You have to be, how do you protect the environment of the client and the confidentiality and everything? And in coaching, I felt much more free to experiment and do this without all this heaviness of the therapy rules, right? So in a way, I think it really helped me learn to work online in a softer way. And then when we moved to Italy, where we are now, and I can practice, and I had that experience of working online as a coach. So it was a lot of that was transportable, and of course there are some adjustments because it is a more confidential work anyway, and there are some boundaries that you have to respect and look at in a different way. But I was in there already, and it felt much easier to and also to understand that is effective, and it's good work, and you can do it online as well. So yeah, that was my kind of journey into the online. I think I feel I was a bit forced into the online world. I don't think I would go if I had the choice. But now I'm so used to it, and there's so many advantages as well. So yeah.
Yeah, advantages for ourselves and advantages for our clients, right? It can be really beneficial
Yes.
for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with, I think, the population that I work with, that usually expats that also are going around and taking holidays and going back to their home countries, and so they don't have to interrupt because of those things, and they're already used to the media, and I'm an expat as well, so I think that there's also a mutual understanding of when we're not in the same scenery, we're not doing the same, the time zones, we need to adjust a little bit and all of those things. So I think it works well with this population as well.
Right. Wanted to ask you a little bit more about how you see the future of location independent life and online therapy, and is that something for yourself that you want to keep doing, that you envision it's going to change? Is everyone going to do it at some point? Are most people going to go back after the pandemic to working in person? What is your take on that, and how do you see the future maybe?
I think it's going to be a mix, to be honest. I personally, I'm not going to go back to practicing in location, like unless like one or two workshops or something that is very short term that I could do in the
Yes.
location that I am. But it doesn't make sense in my lifestyle at the moment or the future that I can foresee, to have like a practice that is local and physical. And I think I got so used to the the practicity in my life and how to fit the the profession into my life in this way, that is, it's even hard. It feels like, oh, if I have to have a location, and I'll have to go to the location, and there's like time loss, and there's all those things that it feels more like a burden now than it used to. um, I do like, I think I do like to do some things in person, but as I said, I think it would have to be all short term. I can see colleagues going back to a kind of a mix of online and in person again, and I can see that some clients would prefer to go back to the face to face work, because it gives them, like, I don't know, this protection, or even the transition to go to one place and another could be, sometimes it's like some time to think and to transition to another part of your life, and I can see that happening. And yeah, but what I'm seeing is most people at least keeping part of their clients online, because the clients are also, like, some of the clients are also saying, no, it's okay, we could do this online and it's easier for me.
One of the reasons we are here today is because you are a member of our lit community. Can you tell us how you found
Yes.
us, why you joined us, how your experience has been so far?
Yes, of course. I found the lit community because was it a couple of years ago or 3 years ago that I think you went to FIGT and you did like a presentation on our conversation there. And I
Mhm.
started following you, and your work, and I got really curious because you were doing the work. That I was like, oh, we can do this online, and I was just moving to Italy and being able to work again as a therapist. So all those things happened kind of at the same time. So I found the information and kept following it from a distance, a little bit from a distance for a while, and then I know that the windows to get into the group and I kept missing some of the windows, and I was like, oh, again, I missed the window. But I finally got in recently, a couple of months ago, and I've been finding it incredibly supportive. And first it was really welcoming, and but there's this sense of community. We share a lot. We do support each other, but in a sense, each one is doing their own thing, so in slightly different ways. There's no like, this is how you do this, but we come together and we share. And the meetings that I've been able to participate, there's a lot of also honesty that I appreciate about the, what's working, what's not working, what is hard, and the things that you have to take a little bit of risk or less risk depending on where you are, and but talking openly about those things instead of kind of like pretending everything is okay. And I really appreciate that.
I think that's one of the, I mean, it's definitely the thing I like most about the community, but that openness and support, that, yeah, just welcoming, supportive kind of like community. But I think what really helps is that we are so international, right? Like you're one of those people who's also adding new cultures and new experiences to the mix, and everyone does that in our community because we are so from different professional backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds, different work experiences. And I find that is one of the things that's so rare. Usually you get like communities or supervision or something with just people who have exactly the same training, exactly the same background, and then you kind of talk always about the same things.
Yeah.
But then when you have someone, well, you have someone in your supervision who is from Argentina, someone from Japan, and you from Brazil, and then you're living in Italy, and we're adding those so many different perspectives. And I think that also helps us in how we run our business, because we are more used to that flexibility and responding to, well, just seeing that there are more ways to see things, like how the world works, right? It's not just one way of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the mixed supervisions have been really, really fun as well, because you hear like a completely different perspective, and it's so useful. Yeah, and I find also that for me to have a referral network is super important, because I'm also a mom of 2 kids in international schools, and people know that I'm a psychologist, so they come and talk to me when they are like, do you have a referral, do you have, so having like a team, it feels a bit like having a team of different nationalities, different languages, and that I can also refer to people, right? This person works with adolescents, this person just with adults. This is like it's really good to have.
Well, we're really glad that you joined us, that you managed to find an open window, and that you managed to join us. And I hope you're going to, I'm hoping to see you more in events. I know with our time zones, we haven't been able to be in many of the same events, but I sometimes see your face on replays, and then other people watch replays. It's also interesting. So if people want to know more about you, where can they find you? What should they know? We will add links below as well, but maybe you want to just say something.
Yeah, so people can find me on my website. I'll send you the link to the website, and on LinkedIn as well. There's some information there, and yeah, I think these are the main channels to find something more about me. Yeah.
Well, then, thank you very much for joining me today, and
thank you
for telling us a little bit more about your work and your background.
Thank you for having me here and in the community. So happy.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having found us online somehow in the mysteries of the online world, and been following. And
yeah.
See you soon.